Hi guys, welcome to a new video. My name is Choma. In this video, we'll be making these straight pants. If this is your vibe, keep watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll be notified whenever I make a new post. So I'm trying to cut a straight pant, and to do that you need about 2 yards of fabric, your zip, your tape, your ruler, your chalk, just basic things you'll be needing to cut. So to cut out the front part of this trouser, I'm just going to be cutting out the amount of fabric that I'll be needing to place on the table so it will be easy to work with. I'm going to take 10 inches, that's my hip measurement, add about 4 to 3 inches, about 3 to 4 inches for allowance, and then I'm going to cut that. I'm also going to measure the length and add about 3 to 4 inches, and then I'm going to cut out and I'll bring it back. So I've gone ahead to cut out the amount of fabric we'll be needing to cut the front part of this pant. And the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead now and start putting in my measurements. Now the top of this fabric is going to serve as the waistline. So the next thing you're going to do is to take your hip line and you're going to take into account the 1.5 inch for your band, because I want this pant to have a band of 1.5. So I'm going to take out the 1.5 and then I'm going to measure my hip line, which is 10 inches. After which I'm going to mark my crotch line. The picture above is how to get your crotch line. I'm going to mark my crotch line, which is 13 inches, because I want this to be really high-waisted. And the next thing is to go down by 4 inches to get my tie line. The reason why I'm using a tie line is because I want this pant to have like a snug fit. I want it to be tight up until at least my tie line. Next thing I want to do is to really line across all the points I've made, just like you see me doing. Next, I'm going to take the full length of this pant, still taking note of the 1.5 inch for band, and I'm going to be taking in my full length for this pant, which is 41. I'm also going to add 3 inches as the allowance, so I'll be able to hem it however I want to hem it when I'm done making this pant. The next step is to go in by 1.5 inch on your waistline. I'm sorry guys, I didn't know that the camera wasn't filming this particular part, but all I did was go in from the waistline by 1.5 inch. After going in by 1.5 inch on your waistline, you connect that line, the point you've gotten, to your hip line. Then you go to the bottom part of this pant and you also go in by 1.5 inch, and then you connect that 1.5 inch point you have gotten straight to your hip line, just like you see me doing. So this is exactly what it looks like after taking the 1.5 inch from the pants to join at the hip line, and also taking the 1.5 inch from the waistline to the hip line. This is exactly what it's going to look like. Now on the hip line, you're going to take your hip measurement, whatever you have, the circumference of your hip divided by 4. You're going to impute it, and then you're going to add 1 extra inch for sewing allowance. Now for the crouch line, there are so many ways to get your crouch line, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be adding 2 inches to whatever I have on my hip line, and that's exactly what I'll be marking on my crouch line. And this is going to give me 13, so I've just gone ahead to mark a point there. The next thing I'm going to do is to go over to the waistline and take my waist circumference divided by 4 and add 1 inches for allowance, after which I'm going to try to connect the 3 points from my waistline to my hip line to my crotch line. Try to connect the 3 points together, just like you see me doing. So I've gone ahead to connect from the hip to the waist, and now I'm going to get the crouch. I've gone ahead to connect the crouch, and this is exactly what it looks like. Now for the tie line, I'm going to take my lap measurement. That's my lap circumference. I have 24 as my lap circumference. I'm going to take half of it, which is 12 inches. For the lap, you're going to divide by 2 instead of by 4. Now for the bottom of this pant, I'm going to take whatever I have on my tie line, which is 12 inches, and then I'm going to be placing exactly that at the bottom of this pant. And that's because I just want it straight. I'm marking 12 inches, making a point of 12 inches throughout the remainder of this pant. So I'll be able to get an accurate 12 inches when I'm ruling a straight line. So this is me measuring 12 inches. I'll go up a little bit and measure 12 inches just because I want it to be very straight. Now I'm going to go ahead, take a ruler and extend the points from the tie line to the bottom. So it's already easy because I've already marked the points throughout the remainder of the pant. So after I'm done extending the lines, this is exactly what it looks like, and that will be all for the front part of this pant. This is what it looks like. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trace it out following all the lines I've made on this fabric. So after cutting out the front parts of this pant, I'm going to be using the front to cut out the back. This is the front part of this pant, and this is exactly what it looks like. The next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and cut out the back of this pant. Place the front on top what is supposed to be the back, and this is what it looks like. You just want to make sure you have at least 2.5 inch on the crotch area for the back parts. Make sure there's at least 2 inches just down here. That's basically all you need. Now for the back part of this pant, I'm going to be going up from the back by 1.5 inch, and the reason for this is because sometimes when you're sitting down, the back part of your pants tend to open up a little bit, so it will not be open. That's just what it is. That's what it is for. Now I realized that it wasn't recording when I was taking my back measurement. So what I've done basically is to go out at the crotch line by 3 inches for the back, and then on the hip line 2 inches. Now previously I took 1 inches for the waistline to connect to the waistline, but I changed my mind because I wanted this to have a very snatched effect. So I'm connecting the 2 inches I went out by on the hip line straight to the waistline, just like you see me doing. Slant it so it will connect directly to the waistline. And don't forget that for the waistline of the back piece, I went up by 1.5 inch. So this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to slant it directly to the waistline of the front, just like you see me doing, directly, so it will meet at the center point. I hope you understand what I'm doing. If you don't get what I'm doing, please watch what I'm doing. So what I've just done is to try and connect the 2 inches from the back part of my hip line to meet the waistline. I went up by 1.5 inch for the back part, and then I'm just going to connect the lines together. Please watch what I'm doing if you don't get what I'm saying. The last thing to do is to measure 2 inches from the crotch line of the back down to the bottom of the pant. I'm sorry it wasn't captured on camera. And then I'm going to go ahead and trace it out. So this is exactly how I'm going to be cutting it out, tracing it out. So guys, after cutting the front and the back, this is what they are going to look like. This is the front and this is the back piece. This is what it's going to look like. Now to sew this, on this back part, you're going to measure 7 inches. You're going to chase, and then you're going to leave it open because that's where your zip is going to be. So what you're going to, so from here to here, you stop here. Now for the front part of this pants, you're going to go like this, join the crotch. After joining the front crotch to each other, this is what it looks like. This is it. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it's coming together nicely. And for the back, this is what the back looks like. Don't forget, this place is going to be the zip allowance. So this is what it looks like so far. So the next thing to do is to place the front to the back. So front sides facing each other. You place the front to the, make sure you take, so what this fabric to have any dart because it's quite stretchy. And I'm going to measure my exact waist measurement because I want this to be snatched, and then I'm just going to take it down by 1 inches throughout. As you can see, it's coming out nicely. This is the side. What it needs now is like a good press. This is the side. It needs like a good press. So what is left now is to join the crouch to each other. Make sure they are touching each other like this. Of course, you do it on the wrong side. You do go. Take it down. So I'll do that, and then I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like. So guys, I'm done joining the crotch area. You can see this is what it looks like. So the next thing is to go ahead, give it a good press. You can open up the edges and give it a good press. So the next thing to do is to attach your band to this pant, and this band is going to be 2 inches on fold. That's when you open it up, it's going to be 4 inches. I'm using 1/2 inches to join it to the pant because I want it to be 1.5, and I'm going to use a length of about 29 to 30 inches. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead to measure the 2 inches to be sure it is exactly 2 inches. I'm going to iron some gum stay on it, and then I'm going to be attaching it to the pants. Now, after attaching the band to the pants, this is exactly what it looks like. We're almost done with this pant. The next thing to do is to go ahead and put in your zipper, give it a good press, and hem the bottom of this pants by 2 inches, depending on how many inches you left for your hemming allowance. And that will be all for this pants. After I've gone ahead to attach my zipper and hem the bottom of this pants, this is exactly what it looks like, guys. This is the finished look. Please, if you've enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll be notified whenever I make a new post. Thank you, and see you in my next video.